Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second recording of the Week 9 version of the Michigan Ultimate Survivors. That is Lloyd/James Seagraves, and this is take 2 of this. Yesterday, I recorded a full 16-minute podcast, and it was blanked out because I started off by unplugging the mic about 30 seconds into it, plugged the microphone back in, and did the whole podcast and watched it back and saw that there was no sound. So I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible. I'm extremely tired. I spent the night in the hospital last night. That's another story, by the way. So I feel like a scrub ball, which is why I'm wearing I'm not cosplaying Trayvon Martin or anything here. I just feel drained and tired. But, we are trying to move on as if life is normal. Today's my son's birthday, and I'm going to take care of that and try to take care of this again. So anyway, we're going to start. This is a whole episode is going to be based on potential playoff scenarios. I'm going to go over as quick as possible because frankly, I'm tired and, my wife's at the hospital still. So here we go. So we are going to quickly go over, as you see here. Yes, I'm using the share thing. The Jeff Lebowski Conference here. Okay. Obviously there are two teams with a better chance than anyone. In fact, I believe only two teams have a chance, I think, based on the math that I did. So, what is this? This isn't the right piece of paper. Oh, God. So we're going to start off with Tell Me Something Good. They're 8-1, obviously, right here. Okay, 8-1. They win out and they're in. Brady O'Bush is 7-2. If they win out, they're in. Simple enough, because the next week these two teams play each other, which would be huge. This week, Tell Me Something Good plays the Wolfpack, so that's a big game. The Wolfpack can, I believe, still win out. If they win out and Brady O'Bush loses two games, the next two games, they can still win. Sorry, I heard it. I believe it's eliminated, although none of these things are official because I'm not a mathematician. So next week I will know these are rough scenarios. Next week I will know the complete scenarios based on the fact that I won't have to calculate nearly as much crap. So New Orleans Rock Chucks in the Jeff Spicoli concert, clearly in charge of their own destiny. They win one game and they are in. Obviously, they win two games, they're in. If they lose both games, however, and that's when things get all messed up. You would think that only because Providence Power is the only team that beat them, and he even made a post on the Facebook group that if I'm going to adjust this here a little bit. There we go. You would think that based on the fact that Providence beat them, that if there's a tie, Providence would be the only team that can beat them. That is not the case, however. If there are several teams who are 7-4, they use the combined win-loss record from all of these teams to see who wins. So very unlikely that anyone assigned to New Orleans Rock Chucks wins that division, but it is still possible that any of these teams, with a little bit of luck and a little bit of mathematics, could win it. But definitely the best two chances are Providence Power and New Orleans Rock Chucks. Not in that order. So the Brody Bruce Conference, we have the Broskis, 7-2. They went out and they're in, no doubt. And why is that? Even if Brady's Balls wins out, why are they ranked higher? Because in week 1, the Broskis defeated Brady's Balls. So as I said, in week 1, every single game is important. And that means that week 1 win could win everything. So the Brady's Balls, however, if they win out and the Broskis lose, Brady's Balls will win that division. Still potentially alive. That's what Tony Cromwell wanted to know. These three teams, I believe, are mathematically alive still. If they win out and these two teams lose, I mean, we'll nail this one down next week, people. Still mathematically alive, getting Schneider 52 as the mic and Sioux Girls 1 cup for sure. Clark Griswold Conference here. We have the Black Hole, 7-2. Obviously, they win out and they're in. If the Red Wings win out and Black Hole loses, let's say they have the same record anyway. Red Wings do own the tiebreaker on them. The Wyans can still be alive. They're 7-3. They would be. They're 6-3. Sorry, I'm rusty. Those three teams obviously have the best chance. I do not believe these 5-4 teams have a chance because I think these guys play each other at some point, so they will not possibly both lose. Let me double check that. The Wyans plays the Red Wings. Yep, there we go. So that is why, because there's no way both of these teams lose both games. So there's that. Obviously, the Black Hole's in charge there. Then we go down to Ron Burgundy Conference. Cheechkee clearly in charge here. They win one game and they're in, and they can take 2 weeks off, basically, if they win one more game. FarmersOnly.com almost was defeated by almost beat Sagnasty's notch above top notches this weekend, which would have made it very, very interesting when it comes to the playoffs, because then it would have been a whole bunch of 7-3 or 6-3 teams rather than 8-1. Never mind. I don't even know what's going on. I'm sorry. This is a lackluster podcast, but I'm exhausted. So, if Will Fork on first date, obviously they beat Cheechkee this week. So if they win out and Cheechkee loses out, they would have the tiebreaker on them. FarmersOnly.com. If there's a 3-way tie there, obviously it'll go to tiebreaker, but I think they all beat each other, and then it would go to points, which would make that Cheechkee, obviously, so far anyway, is way up on top. The Frank Drebin Conference, I mean, look, dudes, all of these teams right here, from Somerset all the way up, still have a chance mathematically to win this conference because of the fact that it's so bunched. There's only 2 games that separated. We will definitely look at that one next week. I'm just moving on. The Tecumseh Football Titans leading the Derek Zoolander Conference. Obviously, they win out and they're in. However, I mean, T-Bob Ames, the sequel right here. Critical free fall. They were 6-0. They've lost their last 3 games to critical teams here, to Squadrels, to Tecumseh, and to the Double Blumpkin. So they're free falling. So they are eliminated based on the fact that they lost to both of those teams. So the only 2 teams that can win this division now are going to be Tecumseh and Squadrels here. So if they end up with the same record, guess what? Squadrels wins that because of the fact that they have the tiebreaker over Tecumseh. So, but all Tecumseh has to do is win out or have a loss by Squadrels, and they would be okay. It's a lot of scenarios, but yeah, that's how that works. And then finally, Kirk Lazarus Conference, Robert Griffin III, and that very controversial game over Collector Kings really rearing its ugly head. They win out and they're in. Collector Kings obviously can still win that. Fearboner and Vinsanity all have decent chances, especially Vinsanity, because they beat the Collector Kings when it comes to tiebreaker. So that would be critical. So that's how those things stack up. Now, the question is, how do they stack up when it comes to the other stuff here? In terms of the actual playoffs, let's say right now, if the playoffs were to start today, this is what we'd be looking at, okay? We'd have the conference winners. The number 1 overall seed would be Cheechkee, who's 8-1 with 757. Tecumseh Football Titans right behind them, 753. Robert Griffin III, yada, yada, yada. Tell me something good. Broskies, Black Hole, New Orleans Rock Chucks. And Stafford's Johnson goes deep, who's 6-3 and still leading a conference somehow. Then the next 3, 6, 9, the next 10 seeds go based on record, okay? So if the league were to end today, Brady O'Bush would be the 9 seed, Brady's Balls the 10, Squadrels 11, Collector Kings 12, 52 is the Mike, Getting Schneidered, Sioux Girls 1 Cup. There you go, Tony Cromwell. Fearboner, Red Wings, and FarmersOnly.com would be in based on record if the thing were to end today. Now, that's not surprising to a lot of people. There are still 2 weeks. A lot of this can change, so don't be depressed. What might surprise some people are these 3 down here, okay? The Muscle, much like the IFSC, the league I've been part of since I was in 3rd grade, is built to allow people who get raw deals to make up for it in the end. So if you score a hell of a lot of points every week and you lose, you still have a chance. The 3 seeds that are after the records go to the highest amount of points scored people, or teams in this case, that aren't already in the playoffs. So if the season were to end today, Roster Baiters, Kazoo Crazies, and Tallywhackers, all 3 of these teams would all make the playoffs. This is very important to know, since the Tallywhackers and Kazoo Crazies are both 4 and 5. Roster Baiters are 5 and 4. Chances are These dudes definitely aren't making it on record. Roster baiters probably aren't making it on record. There would have to be a pretty colossal collapse from these guys up here to not make the playoffs based on record, which is good news to everybody because of Ashley Cromwell's team and their ridiculous amount of points they've scored. That 7-17-63 is definitely not accurate. I don't know what the hell they've scored, to be honest with you. They've scored 851. I put their points against on accident. Hope I didn't do that for all of them. No, I didn't. Just that one. So, yeah, 853 for that one, not 717. But hey, I'm operating like 3 hours sleep, so deal with it. So that's important to know. Then, of course, the bottom three are going to be the wild card seeds down here. Now, how that works is if you have not been randomized twice, which shit, I mean, 20 teams have been randomized twice. You get one ticket per win that you have, and they're all thrown into a randomizer, random.org to be exact, and you get one ticket per win, and we have a live drawing on we have several owners in attendance where we do the drawing. We do the drawing a little different every year. Sometimes we use random.org, sometimes we roll dice, sometimes you draw letters, or numbers, I should say, not letters, Jesus. And determine it live in front of everyone. So every win is important when it comes to that. Every point is important when it comes to those other seeds. So we try to encourage people to not give up on their teams because you're always alive as long as you submit a lineup. So there's that. I got a lot of work to do today. I got to get back to the hospital. So everything's fine, by the way, in case you're wondering. I mean, as far as we can tell. So not issues with me, not issues with my kids, but issues with my wife. Although they're not really issues, in my opinion. They're just being overly cautious, which I guess is better than being underly cautious. So nevertheless, it's scary. So, all right. Well, I will talk to you guys later. Next week, we will have a complete breakdown of all possible scenarios. Just with 2 weeks to go, it gets crazy to do all the math. So, and I certainly don't have time today. So take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.